Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and today we're looking at the Laurier Falcon 2 with the white dial, of course, and the Laurier Neptune version 3 with the black and white dial. So right off the bat, I think you'll notice the size difference. Case on the Falcon is 36 millimeter, and the case on the Neptune is 39 millimeter. Also, lug to lug is shorter on the Falcon. It's 44 millimeter on the Falcon in my left hand here versus 47.2 millimeter on the Neptune in my right hand. Let's flip this over here, and you'll also notice the crown sizes are quite a bit different. 6.4 millimeter on the Falcon, which again is in my left hand, and then 7.5 on the Neptune in my right hand. You can see very similar design language between these two. The crowns are both signed. A very similar case shape. See, this one's a little more slender. They both do have 20 millimeter lug width. As you can see there, so they both do have the same bracelet, the same bracelet clasp. So that's very good on Laurier for not having to have so many different parts. Also, you can see the Neptune does, of course, have a rotating bezel versus the fixed bezel on the Falcon 2. 100 meter water resistance for the Falcon versus 200 for the Neptune. They both do have screw-down crowns, screw-down case back. I think the difference comes from the plexiglass. The plexiglass on the Neptune is much thicker, which does, of course, increase the overall thickness, but you can kind of see that here. You know, it doesn't have a rotating bezel on the left, but you can kind of see how much higher the dome crystal sticks up here. And yes, they do both have plexiglass. Well, actually, the website says Hesselite, but as far as I can tell, Hesselite, plexiglass, and acrylic are all the same thing. Definitely a different profile to these crystals as well. But they both do show distortion, of course. The Falcon has a textured dial, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to see through the camera with the studio lighting or not. But there's a crosshatch diamond type pattern on the dial of this. So they both do have printed on indices with the BGW9 loom. The text and the logo are all printed on it as well. But I really do like the styling of these watches. Fit on wrist is very comfortable for both watches. They both do have the same bracelet as I mentioned. Female end link, solid end link, solid links for the bracelets. Both screw links, so easy to size. The clasp is a milled clasp here. This portion is stamped. 3 micro adjust. So as far as which watch to buy, and it comes down to personal preference. They are both the same price. So I would opt personally for the Neptune, but if you don't want a rotating bezel, then go for the Falcon 2. They both fit on my wrist pretty well, 6.5-inch wrist. This one, it looks okay. I just prefer a little bit larger of a watch. Bezel action is just fine on this. It's easy enough to use, has a nice thin bezel. I really like this vintage styling for both of these watches. They both do have the same movement, the Miyota 90S5, which is 8 beats per second, so it's a high beat, both hacking and hand winding. And it's a thinner movement as well. So thickness on the Neptune is 13 millimeter. Thickness on the Falcon is 11 millimeter. And the bracelet's the same as I mentioned already a couple times. It goes from 20 down to 16. Nice taper. Very comfortable on wrist. Articulates very nicely. So I think you can't go wrong with either of these watches. So one thing that is kind of interesting to me is if I were to ask you which of these dials is larger, what would be your guess? The white dial or the black dial? Now, unfortunately, they're not the same color, so the white dial, even itself being white, does appear to be larger. And I would have thought that they were the same crystal diameter, but the way I measured with my calipers, they are not. But it could be some error with the way I'm measuring there. So this does have an inner, or maybe that's the bezel. I can't tell if the inner ring is rotating or not. I don't think it is. So kind of like the older Omegas, instead of this entire thing being a bezel, I think this inner ring here is separate from the bezel. Yeah, I don't know, but I guess it doesn't matter. So anyway, I measured the crystal size of the Neptune at 29.5 millimeter, and I measured the Falcon at 30 millimeter for the SIII crystals. So anyway, let me get both of these on wrist, and then we can close out the video. I thought this was, I just noticed, I thought this was misaligned, but maybe it is. The printing might be off a little bit because the 30 looks like it's lined up, and then this looks like it's off now. I went past it again. All right, anyway, let me get these on wrist, and no, we'll do a loom comparison too. It should be the same. They both have BGW9 loom, and the indices appear to be the same size. Looks to be the same handset too, I would have to guess. Yeah, I would have to say that's the same handset. Anyway, here we are on my 6.5 inch wrist, 47.2 millimeter, 52 millimeter wristband. Let me know which one of these two you think looks better on my wrist. So there we go, Laurier Neptune. And then we'll go to the Falcon. Kind of wish I still had that. Well, it was sent in on loan, but that Gemini was a pretty cool watch too. Actually, I believe that has the Seagull 1963 movement 1903. I forgot the model number of that movement, but anyway, getting off track again. So here we go. 44 millimeter, 36. Yeah, this does look good on camera, but by eye, yeah, by eye it might seem a little small, I think. Lug to lug is okay, but yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think. All right, we'll pause the video and come right back with the loom. If you have not already subscribed, greatly appreciate if you go ahead and subscribe. Like the video if you liked it, and leave a comment below. Well, that's very interesting, but the Falcon does have brighter loom than the Neptune. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if there's more loom applied to the Falcon, or if it has something to do with the white dial versus the black dial. So that's very interesting. I was not expecting that. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. Let it run a little bit longer here, then we can close out the video. All right, as always, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.